everybody.
What it do, baby boo?
We're back. We let that last episode breathe a few weeks.
Yeah, it needed to simmer.
It did. It was a doozy.
In a good way.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It definitely...
I hated that.
It definitely let more people listen to it.
Oh, yeah, letting it breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still getting messages and texts about that episode.
So yeah, if you're listening to this one, hope you liked the last one. And if you haven't listened to the last one, don't listen to this one. Go listen to the last one.
Yes, prerequisite.
But yeah, it was great feedback. It had the feedback that I was expecting on one side, but it was like, people were like, "You okay, Josh?
Do we need to commit you to...
Do you need like a intervention?" But the rest of the feedback was really great. And I'm doing a bunch of readings because of it. So
Yeah,
it's awesome.
A couple this week, which is exciting.
Yep.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that episode.
What about it?
We just got lots of questions.
Yeah.
And talking a little bit about those questions that came up.
Real quick.
Yeah.
I had a thought this morning when I was pooping.
Whoa. Those are when the best thoughts come for sure.
Sometimes. Or the shower.
Yeah, pooping or shower.
How many chemicals are in our toilet paper?
Probably a lot.
Shout out Charmin with their little groovy things. Because when you pull, it doesn't rip the wrong way.
The wavy tear?
Yeah.
It's true.
It's great.
At first I was suspicious, but it does work a lot better.
Yeah, it does. But then I was, doing my thing, aka cleaning up. And I was like, this can't be good for us. There's got to be like forever chemicals in this shit.
Oh, for sure.
Ain't nobody talking about toilet paper.
Why do you think it's so white?
I don't know. Why is it so white?
I'm sure they just bleached the shit out of it. Pun intended.
Ha 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 ha. Yeah, so we got to fix that.
I know. There are natural toilet paper brands. I just feel like it's probably not a great product.
It's probably like sandpaper.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I'm particular about my toilet paper, that's for sure. I'm anal about my anus.
Heaven forbid I buy the sturdy or whatever.
Yeah.
The strong
it's
toilet paper.
one of the things Dex and I have in common is I just like to be super clean.
Yeah. Does anyone not? I would question a person if they didn't like their butthole to be very clean.
I think people don't think about it. They're like, oh, there wasn't anything on that wipe.
I think maybe this has to do with being a nurse, but I'm always want to be prepared for if I happen to have some emergency and have to go in an ambulance. I don't wear nasty underwear. And
it's the first thing they're doing, looking up your butt in the ambulance?
No, but they are tearing your clothes off, cutting them off of you. And I don't want to be caught with 2-day-old undies. No way.
Yeah, poop streaks or anything. Peanut butter cheeks.
Oh, God. Unnecessary.
That's what we would call it. Like when we'd run out of toilet paper and you'd have to like go get it.
Yeah.
We would call that peanut butter cheeks.
When you're like waddling.
Yeah.
Squeezing them together so nothing falls.
Yep, exactly.
Yikes.
But I feel like we're getting screwed over by the toilet paper industry with all the chemicals that are up inside of there that we're wiping our asses with.
Are you like
multiple times a day if you're healthy? That's me.
That's true.
That's me.
2 to 3 times a day, really?
Yeah, I'm hollering at the toilet 2 to 3 times a day.
Is this like working up to an advertisement that I'm unaware of?
Not yet, but
okay.
I could brand the shit out of a toilet paper, pun intended.
There are some pretty cheeky brands. Pun.
No, I could do better.
Okay, great. I don't doubt
Chemical-free toilet paper? Gosh, that would be so fun to brand.
My hunch is it's really expensive and it's not a great product because it makes your butt probably
Yeah, I don't know how you would
raw.
make it super soft.
Yeah.
Without putting fuzzies on it. That's probably all the shit that's got the chemicals on it.
We need to be European and get a bidet.
So we looked up a day a little bit ago.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Guys, if you can guess what bidet, what the word comes from, what it means.
If you can guess the bidet, I was going to put a promotion out for you.
No, you should. And then we'll tell them at the end of the episode.
You want to know something? I would cheat the shit out of that. I'd go look up a day and then message and be like, it's a small horse.
Yeah. Guys, that's what it means.
A small horse.
Tiny
Because you're
pony.
straddling and it looks like you're straddling a tiny pony.
When you use it, which this is a very graphic intro to a podcast, but yeah, I am inclined to try out the bidet. I feel like how squeaky clean would you be if you...
Okay, so let's talk about the bidet. So we have a filter on our shower.
True.
We drink reverse osmosis with added minerals.
True.
So then we're just going to take the straight water and shoot it up our butts with no filter?
Wow. I don't know
Well, I'm
that
just
it
saying.
needs to go up the butthole. It's a rinse.
I'm just saying. It's like forever chemicals on toilet paper or heavy metals in the water that you're shooting up your
I
butt.
know. Modern life, y'all, has made it real hard to be healthy.
Oh, wow. That was like the grossest victim voice I've ever heard in my entire life.
You're the one complaining about heavy
I'm complaining
metals up your
about
butt.
it. I'm not victimizing myself to it.
No, I'm just saying, you got to have a whole nother level of awareness without
I just was
getting...
sitting on the toilet
I
being
know.
like, shit, didn't think about this one.
Yeah.
This one slipped away.
I did
It was
think about
flushed.
it. There is actually a small corner of Instagram that talks about the chemicals, and I just, the whole 80-20 thing, like I just didn't have it in me to think about toilet paper yet.
But there's a few things where I spend some time. Toilet,
In
my
your
bed.
bed.
Yeah.
All
Trying to
right.
make it as healthy as possible.
Okay, we'll keep you guys posted if we find a great toilet paper alternative.
Just something I'm thinking about. Sorry, I know we were about to talk about the last episode, but it's been on my mind since I was shitting this morning.
I'm
So
glad that you got that off your heart.
thank you. And now everyone else is driving thinking about the chemicals that they wipe themselves with. So that's fun. Anyways, last episode, it was different.
Yeah, and we've gotten lots of feedback. A lot of people are like, wow, I cried multiple times in that episode, which I wasn't expecting.
Multiple people.
I know.
Did you cry?
No, I have listened to it a few times because every time
You have.
Yeah, every time somebody else texts me their questions or thoughts, it makes me want to listen to it again with that new frame. First of all, I think it's just a little bit like, what's the word I'm looking for? Anytime that somebody is claiming psychic mediumship, that's going to raise a few eyebrows, a few ears. I think people listened maybe because of that.
Yeah,
they're like,
for sure.
What's going on with Blatch? So part
Yep.
of that may have been the interest, which honestly, what is going on with Blatch? I don't know. This is a wild ride.
It's been a weird journey.
Being married to a psychic medium is something I never
Yeah,
saw
how's that going for our
myself.
marriage?
It's actually been fantastic. It has had its challenges, no doubt. Like the other day, you came to me and you're like, yo, if I saw something for you, do you want to know about it? And I'm like, yeah, I want to know about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I think you're going to have a really hard summer. And I was like, fuck. Okay.
Any good news?
Yeah, just like anything else?
Yeah.
So there is that element, which is interesting. And arguing with somebody who has psychic abilities and is connected to source.
You sang that. There was a vibrato.
It can feel,
A little unfair.
yeah,
I get that.
it's rude.
I feel like it's unfair.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but it actually hasn't been as, I don't know, tumultuous for us as I thought it would be.
I think, at least from my side, being able to tap into these abilities and having an argument has made me calmer.
What do you mean?
Because I can like tap into your energy and understand it before you can.
Yes.
So I'll be like, she's not an idiot. She's actually just,
Glad you found that out 10 years in.
she's scared of defeat. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Oh, she's not an idiot.
Oh.
Like I once thought.
This isn't her being an asshole. This is her being completely unaware.
That's a common thread.
Gives me slightly more empathy in our marriage.
There's definitely times, and we're both learning, you'll come up to me and be like, what's your energy like? And I'll be like, fuck off. I'm not ready to hear it.
Yeah.
Like,
Actually, wait, story time. What was this, a week and a half ago? Her energy was like batshit crazy, and it was intense for 2.5 days. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to tell it to her. I'm going to let her figure this out. And I'll just encourage her and try to get her to figure it out herself. There was one time where her energy was intense, and I went into the kitchen and I was like, you doing okay? And she was like, you don't need to bring it up.
I'm like, I know that I'm not okay. I can't get a grip on it yet. You don't have to tell me that I'm not okay. And I'm like stuffing my face, numbing with food and carbs and sweet, like stuff that I don't normally do. I'm like, what is going on with me?
She kept on asking me questions like, why am I feeling this way? And so I would just ask her open-ended questions of like, why are you feeling this way?
Yeah, where do you feel it in your body?
Tap in.
Spoiler alert, I was PMSing and I just didn't know it, which is not like, I'm so adamant that is not going to be an excuse for me to.
Your hormones are imbalanced.
Yes, I need to rein it in from a physiological perspective. I need to support my body so that my cycle isn't quite so intense. But there's nothing wrong with PMSing. There's nothing wrong with having big feelings, big emotions around your cycle. It's when you are like completely unaware of the root of it.
Yeah.
And letting it just ravage your life and, negatively impact relationships and all of that,
Right.
which I'm frustrated because I know better at this point.
Yeah.
It took me 2 or 3 days, and then we were laying on the couch and I just was like throwing chocolate chips down the hatch, and I was like, Josh, what is happening? And then I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna start my period. And you were like,
finally. She got it like 30 minutes before the energy was going to end.
anywho, it's just, yeah, it's fascinating. And even just having this constant conversation around energy and like what it feels like in our body. I mean, we're doing it with our daughter too.
Zoe's slaying it.
She's tapped in to whatever you're tapped into. Like she can literally close her eyes and be like, it's spinning fast and it's in my chest. And you are seeing the same stuff, which is wild.
Yeah.
Or you'll ask her to check into my energy and she'll be like,
It's all over the place.
Yeah. Yeah. But one thing so for me, the pattern is chaos and then I flee, like I go somewhere else.
You dissociate, yeah.
Yeah. And
you go into Aaron's universe.
I think this time around I realized something new, which is that I'm not just dissociating for the sake of dissociating. Like there's a reason.
Yeah.
And I'm running away from the inner critic. It's like that voice gets really harsh. I get really hard on myself and beat myself up for things that I've let go or things I've made mistakes on or whatever. And I don't want to hear that voice. And so I just go somewhere. So I'm going to be real mindful of this next month to prepare myself for this week that I know is coming. It's like it comes every month. Like it's not irregular. I know it's coming on day 28. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
So that's fun.
Being aware of our energy is so powerful. Yeah.
I agree.
And there's a lot of patterns like with me and Zoe that I've noticed are making a lot more sense. And it's really helpful to have your insight because I see her going crazy. And this time you were like, do you want some, like, would you like to know what that is? And you told me that it's because that dissociative energy, she is trying to tap into me and she feels nothing.
Yeah.
And so she's acting out to feel something. And wow, that's powerful as a mother to know.
A little bit of an aha moment.
Yeah. And also, no, I don't want her to tap into me and feel nothing. That's awful.
Yeah.
I've felt that with people before and it's not a good feeling. So, there's just layers.
So you can feel that.
Yeah. I can feel what?
You just said you've felt that with other people.
Yeah.
So you do have some of that.
Oh, yeah. Everybody does. It's just what we call it, I think. What we call it and if we're aware of it. But
moral of the story is there's pros and cons to be married to a psychic medium.
Yes. But there's definitely benefits. Like I know now that I could potentially have a really challenging summer that could potentially cause a lot of like stress and even like physical disease if I don't like prepare accordingly. So I'm preparing and who knows what that's going to look like. It's tricky because you've only been a psychic medium for a month.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's been a few things in the past weeks that have come through for things in the future. And I haven't been doing this long enough for the things in the future to come true.
Yeah, or not.
So
yeah.
I'm doing a lot in the past and that's working out well.
And like you've literally seen people be pregnant before they tell us. Like it's so there's no denying that. I don't know. Like
just have to trust the things that are coming through. We'll see. It sucks though because sometimes things are happy, but not often.
Yeah.
It's usually things that suck. So yeah, if you randomly hear a tree talking to you when you're in the woods, maybe dig deeper because then all of a sudden you'll be hearing spirit guides and other spirits and people's higher selves. And then you'll start seeing things, you'll start hearing things, you'll start knowing things. And then you realize that they're all real and true. And then you become a psychic medium. So
slippery slope. Yay.
That's how it worked. So many people texting me being like, ... What? I feel like I've been like undercover for the past couple of months doing all this work.
Yeah.
I had an intense 2-month one-on-one mentorship. And yeah, it took me on a roller coaster ride. And then I came out the other side being like, I know all your darkest secrets. I don't just know everyone's darkest secrets, though. I think that's probably one of the biggest things. People are so scared of me. We were just talking with a neighbor and I've done a reading for her a couple times. And then she was like, you're so quiet. Like, why are you so quiet? I was like, I'm just not talking. It's not like I'm seeing anything.
What ominous news are you keeping?
Yeah.
Me? No. Or I have had a couple friends say, this is so cool, but also I'm afraid of Josh.
Yeah. No, I'm not like tapping in like that. Although if something comes through, I'll debate whether I tell the person or not, or I don't know.
Yeah. But mostly it's in the setting where you're intentionally sitting down with a person, you have their consent. And
it's not even consent. I just feel like I have a lot more control over it. Like I'm not just like going down the street tapping into everybody to see all their deepest, darkest secrets.
Also, that's too much for
I feel like I could turn it off and then I can turn it on when I need to. I feel like there's a lot more that goes into that now. When this first started happening, it was just like the water gates were open and I was just drinking out of a fire hose. Everyone's information was coming at me all at once. Now it's, who I'm working with.
Yeah.
And it comes in pretty smoothly now. But yeah, it's a new experience. I'm doing great though, everyone. You don't have to worry about me. I'm probably doing the best I ever have.
Yeah.
I feel the most authentic to myself. It's like I've had all of these things, gifts, my entire life, and I'm just now realizing that's what it is. And then opening up that acceptance and then building confidence on that has allowed to be strengthened. So yeah, I'm doing a reading day. It's the first one in a couple of weeks because I took a few weeks off to integrate and outside of Kimberly's. And yeah, I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm not even nervous anymore. Like I don't I used to get so nervous about it, but now I feel like I've just got it. So
Yeah.
might as well use it.
Yeah. There was a little couple of weeks there where both of us were struggling with the kind of ego aspect of this and how it just feels a little tricky and sticky for a person to claim that they like have psychic abilities or it just, I don't know why. I guess because it's not as common as it once was, you know, thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
And I obviously know you the best and like I'm with you all day, every day. And I know your character. And I think it was my biggest fear, and still in some ways is my biggest fear, for people to miscategorize you and your gifts as ego. Also, just coming from our background in spirituality, which was like the evangelical Christian church, and how
religion.
Yeah. And how many pastors, leaders, whatever in that community have these like huge character scandals, you know, it's like they have affairs or they whatever, they are embezzling money. It's
not only that, but like the gifts that I have would be of the devil.
That too. No, but I'm just saying like men in power, spiritual power, to me historically has not been healthy. Yeah. And so not that I'm afraid you're going to abuse it, but I'm afraid that people will well, I guess if I'm honest, there is that little tiny fleck of
I was going to call you out on it.
Fear where I'm like, I know this person now, but we're both rapidly changing and growing and expanding. And it's, what if that is what it looks like in 5 or 10 years, where he is some spiritual leader, and I like that does scare me.
Yeah, I don't want to be a spiritual leader.
Great. But
pass. That doesn't sound remotely appealing.
Yeah, please don't start a cult.
No.
But then more so, it's like when people hear these things, hear us talking about these things, when we aired that episode, it felt risky because it's like, people are going to hear this. And I think
cat's out of the bag.
Yeah. And I just feel really protective over like your name and your integrity and your character, because I know that it is so pure.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's just a little tricky when you're claiming that you know things that other people don't. Does that make sense? So there was a little while where
I think most could know it. I just am where I'm at right now.
And not to say you've earned it, but like you have intentionally opened yourself up to it over years.
Yeah, this definitely just...
It didn't walk in unexpectedly.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways it did, but...
I walked into it.
Yes.
Via a tree. Yeah.
Which, didn't you go visit that tree recently?
I did.
Yeah. And it said that it was like...
It was one of its main purposes.
To wake you
to
up.
help wake me up.
I have goosebumps. Even the trees are like connected with us. I know that sounds so hippy dippy, but we're all made of the same stuff.
I mean, what was that? September is when it happened. Before September, this wasn't even remotely on my radar. Yeah. Not even remotely considered this realm ever. Not that I didn't believe it or was afraid of it. I wasn't. It wasn't something I was into.
Yeah.
So, like, I had never gotten a reading done myself.
Neither of us have ever met with a psychic or a medium or anything like that until whenever we had that reading done, when you started sensing things were happening. Yep. So it's not been a world that we've been in for very long. But it's so clear to me. I mean, I would have been fearful of this or suspicious of this even a few years ago.
Yeah.
Seeing it firsthand and watching it play out, there is nothing but love and growth happening from this stuff. There's no way that this is, quote, of the devil. There's just no way in my mind. Like, I'm watching it help people heal.
I'm not even remotely concerned.
I know. I'm not
I don't even care what people think.
Yeah.
It is what it is now.
I always will, because
I'm not even here to prove it.
To prove it?
Yeah, like, you have your opinions. Go for it.
Yeah.
Trust your gut and intuition.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
if you're not vibing with it, don't vibe with it. Pretty easy.
Can we actually talk about intuition a little bit?
Sure.
It's such an elusive topic to me. And probably it's because I'm viewing it as a topic.
Yeah. So there's that. Let's start there. It's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. No, it's an embodiment, right? Like it is a lifestyle. But when I use my thinking brain about intuition, it just feels so slippery and elusive.
Yeah, because you're using your thinking brain.
Yeah.
You're using your brain, period.
Which I'm realizing, I thought, it feels like consciousness comes out of the brain. Like it feels like our brain generates consciousness, but that's really not the truth. And in fact, it filters consciousness to a point where it actually is not helpful.
Yeah.
So bypassing the brain actually may be a better
I'll be honest, the biggest hurdle, but the most impactful shift that I had in all of my mindfulness journey was releasing the idea of control. Because I feel like that stems 100% from the brain.
Yeah.
Once I was like, okay, I'm releasing whatever stupid control I thought I had. Because my brain's constantly trying to control scenarios, thoughts.
Predict, yeah.
Everything. Not even just predict, but analyze and be logical. I think with intuition, logic goes out the window in so many various ways. Sometimes you don't know why you feel the way you feel, and there's not an answer to it. You just got to trust it. Yeah, I think I see that more often than anything else is we crave control so much now that blocks us from our intuition.
Totally. You think about, I know I was complaining about modern life earlier, but really it's like modern life has completely engineered out
Yeah.
a need for intuition in a lot of ways because we don't rely on intuition anymore to find food or, find water. Like these are things that we had.
We're not even to flex the muscle as much.
No.
Yeah.
Things are.
Arguably, I'd say we need to be flexing the muscle more than we had to.
Oh, for sure.
But there's so much distraction.
Yeah.
And
to
it's
meet
not
our
really
basic
encouraged.
needs. No, in fact, like we were talking about it the other day, if I'm being honest and I'm weighing reason and logic versus feeling and intuition, it feels like reason and logic is so much more valuable and more powerful. Just if I'm being honest, that's something I believe and that I want to change.
We were talking about how that's almost idolized.
Yeah.
And it is a representation of success in various ways. Like how well you did in college, your degrees that you have, and how you succeed in the professional world a lot of times has to do with smarts, like your book smarts and things like that.
Yeah, I think there may be a kind of paradigm shift that's happening now, but for the last several hundred years at least, reason and logic. I mean, it's like I talk about like Newtonian kind of principles, and all of that is very predictable and logic-based thinking. And it seems like it's shifting now to just a different level of consciousness where people are realizing that things like intuition and feeling actually are important too. Yeah. And probably, if we're honest, is what will, quote, save the world, if that's even something we believe is needed. But I think we've exhausted our reason and logic at this point, and clearly it's not getting us.
I think that reason and logic is an illusion of empowerment, but once you release that, your intuition is probably the most empowering you'll ever be.
Yeah, I mean, that living authentically, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, but like when people measure emotions, which sounds weird, but you can actually measure the frequencies that your heart emits when you're feeling...
Like heart math?
Yeah, but you think that things like love or peace or forgiveness would be the strongest frequencies, but it's actually authenticity is like the most potent energy that we can emit. And you're not going to live authentically if you're not tapped into intuition.
Yeah.
Like that's like the key. So something that I'm excited to lean into. I feel like I'm in this season now where I feel like the last few years has been a lot of me fostering a sense of safety within myself and learning how to genuinely love myself. Like now I catch glimpses of myself in the mirror, and instead of seeing all the flaws, not even physical flaws, but I used to just not like myself very much. Like I thought I wasn't good. And now I catch glimpses of myself in the mirror and I'm like, damn, I love her. Like she's great. She's got magic. And
that's incredible.
I know. It's a good feeling. So I think I had to get there first before I could really lean into what I'm trying to now, which is like intuition and living authentically. But you even think about in nature, the creatures that are living by intuition, like all animals pretty much, I think, wild animals at least, ones that haven't been influenced by us. Like birds sing intuitively. Like nobody teaches them how to sing. Like they just come out knowing how to do that. And really the only prereq for them is a sense of safety. It's like as long as they're feeling safe, they're gonna sing their bird song. If you're wondering where your intuition is, you feel like you can't find it, maybe start with a sense of safety and self-love, and then
I'd agree.
The intuition will flow.
Yeah.
I do think, though, a big part of intuition is learning to recognize the different energies or feelings in the body. And so much of that is practicing awareness. But is there any tips or guidance that you would give people, because you feel energy profoundly and you pick up things that are like imperceivable to my energetic spidey senses, but like talking to a mere mortal, how do we, I guess, what could you say to help a person tap into the energy in them or in other people?
You have to get comfortable with yourself.
Okay.
I think so many of us, including myself, will distract ourselves. And we have to be okay with alone time and sitting with ourselves and being curious about all the things that come up and not judge, even if it's stupid. Just go with that flow and see what it feels like. Even like when we talk about meditation, there's always jokes about so many things come up while you're in meditation, from like what you're going to eat after this to what you have throughout the day. Just like allow them to come in, let them be what it is. The more you strengthen the muscle, the more in tune you're going to be with your intuition anyways. So sit with yourself.
Yeah. There's like subtleties. So for me, the intuitive no versus the resistant no
Yeah.
can be a little challenging for me to figure out which is which, I guess.
Totally. I think that just comes with practice, honestly.
Yeah. And the more you
being
know
able
yourself.
to even identify that as a huge step. So yeah, it comes like second nature to me now because I feel like I can tap into multiple things to get the answer. But I think that's why I like helping people get there instead of just telling them the answer point blank.
Yeah.
We were just talking with a friend, I don't know, last week or something, and we were talking about all the progress that she was having just in her life and how much growth she's having, and she's feeling so good. And I was asking, like, why do you feel good? What is it?
Yeah.
And I already knew the answer just because I could feel the lack of that emotion was gone. And eventually she got there.
Which was?
Of the lack of fear of herself.
Yeah.
She wasn't afraid of herself anymore.
Yeah.
That's empowering to know. And to be able to get there and follow the threads into that emotion of recognizing that that's not there is huge. So just do that and allow it to take time. You were frustrated last week because like you did a meditation and it wasn't as you expected. That was the first problem.
Yeah.
Expectation. Yeah. You were like using your brain to try to figure out what was wrong.
Yeah.
That's it. That is what's wrong. Just sit there and continue to take your focus from your head and put it in just like the center of your chest.
Yeah.
If you ask anybody to be like, where's your energy right now? 0% of people are going to say in their brain.
It's so true. It's always here. It's always in the heart.
A lot of the cases, it'll be in your chest.
Okay.
Where like you feel that center energetic point.
Or maybe some people, if you're holding something somewhere, like in your stomach.
Totally.
Or something like that.
Totally.
Okay.
Or in my leg or whatever.
Oh, interesting.
But nobody's like, my brain.
Yeah.
I've never had somebody say that to me. I've never once thought that my energy was in my brain.
Yeah, dude, why do we rely so much on the brain?
I don't know. Well, it's idolized.
Yeah.
When you're in meditation, consider where you're feeling the energy and focus on that point and just sit with that and see what comes up.
It's so tricky because I can't form thoughts without my brain. So it feels so
Really?
critical. Thoughts, yes.
Where do the thoughts come from?
You think they're sparked by emotion? What?
10,000%.
Oh, okay. It's not the other way around sometimes?
No. Really?
Sometimes it can be the other way around.
I think things can manifest because of your thoughts, because of the lack of control of your thoughts. But you think the initial thought that allowed your thoughts to go out of control came from your brain?
I don't know. I guess you're right. I guess it comes from somewhere deeper.
Say it's negative thoughts that then spiral down into like negative talk and then spiral down into the manifestation of a health issue because of those thoughts. You think the very first thought that started the whole snowball came from the brain? Or was it like a deep-seated insecurity and fear?
But isn't that a thought?
No, that's emotion.
Oh,
that's
I
a
guess
feeling.
what you're saying. Okay, yeah. I see what you're saying. And so it's when the feeling or the emotion goes unexamined and unattended.
I would
or
say,
unprocessed, like left unprocessed.
Yeah, having lack of awareness of that, I think, is what manifests things into things you don't want.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I get that.
But I would argue that if we were I'm not to that level, that's for sure. But I think if we were like just elite frequency, it would all be emotion. And not emotion, all feeling. Like it would be in the center of intuition. Okay. Which would then translate to pretty darn close to your higher self.
See, I guess I'm suspicious of emotion and feelings. Like from a young age, they always seem like they can't be trusted.
And that sounds like a deep rooted thing. Maybe that's where you start.
Do you know what I'm saying though? It's like
I was the exact opposite.
Really?
People were telling me things left and right. And I was like, don't tell me what I feel. How can you tell me what I feel?
Yeah.
Like you're saying that my feelings aren't valid coming from somebody that's not me.
But can't you imagine or see a scenario where somebody's feelings are out of control? Not invalid, but it's like not serving them.
As like a kid?
No, I'm more so thinking adult patterns where it's like we have...
Where do you think those adult patterns came from?
Yeah, of course. But I don't know. Kids are always innocent.
But like, where does it stem from?
Yeah.
Somebody out of control as an adult, outside of all of the health issues that may entail because of that. If somebody is just, I don't know, manic or narcissistic or something, what are those deep-rooted things that are trying to be fed?
I think Okay, maybe this is where this came from. Growing up, I remember learning that emotions and feelings were transient. They would come and go, and therefore don't build your life on them. Does that make sense? And there's that verse, which I don't disagree with this, but that verse that says, take every thought captive and like really check it, like not everything, don't trust everything you think.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I focus that more on the feeling side of things. I tend to trust my brain more than my heart, which is just fascinating to me.
The lesson in there is that you don't trust yourself.
Yeah.
You take what other people say and then you do it.
Yeah.
Where like, that's why religion didn't work out for me. It was like, you're going to tell me what to do? You're going to tell me? You're you. Tell you what to do.
Yeah, which is so true. Like, we're all on different paths.
That's actually why I like readings, though, because I feel like it's not me telling somebody what to do.
Yeah.
It's like I'm talking to your guides, I'm talking to your higher self, I'm talking to your grandma or whatever.
It's literally you telling you what to do.
Yeah. Whatever's coming in is you telling you. I don't know this shit before I hop into a reading.
Yeah.
I can help interpret, meaning like I helped that our friend get to the lack of fear feeling, but that's not me telling you. You could straight up be like, that's not it. And I'd be like, great, let's figure out what it is. I don't care if I'm wrong. This isn't me.
Right. Talk to us more about spirit guides, because I had a lot of people messaging me like, wait, what? Like, does everyone have them? Like,
Yes, everyone has spirit guides. You have one spirit guide, depending on your belief, but here's what I get so far. You have multiple lives. Odds are high that your soul has lived multiple lives, human lives, not just like a deer.
Okay.
Our souls have missions of what we're learning, what we need to be doing. Some lives are going to be really hard. Some are going to be not. Some are going to be awakenings. Some are going to be completely asleep. You have one guide that's with you for every single, since your soul existed, that guide has been with you. Then you have other guides that come and go based on seasons of life, lessons you need to learn, protection, you name it. Odds are fairly high that you're going to have more than one guide. I haven't yet done a reading where I was just like, yeah, it's just your main guide that's with you.
Oh.
I've only had ones with others. Odds are high that you're learning lessons in some way, shape, or form. And then you could have other spirits like your grandma or somebody else that's directly connected to you. And those also are either for support, lessons, just love. Sometimes they come in just because I'm doing a reading and they're not just always there. That's going to happen in the reading that I'm doing today. It's what it is.
And the guides are like solely focused on.
They don't give a shit about anybody else.
Yeah.
They are focused on getting you to your higher self, or as much as you can get to your higher self. So yeah, when I do readings and we're talking, the guides are less interested in the impact that you're going to have on others, because the result of you getting to your higher self will have impact on others. So if they can focus on the goal of getting you to your best self, the rest will be taken care of.
Totally. And I think it's been helpful for me to understand. So when a soul is not here in human form, wherever they are, soul, consciousness, whatever, it's like we know the truth of ourselves. Like we know actually who we are, what we are, which is, I guess, like fractals of God or what, I don't know what you call it, but we're not questioning like our identity. But then when we come here in human form, it's like we agree to forget for this lifetime who we are, and then with the, I guess, intention of over lifetimes perhaps remembering that, which is wild because that is really what this season for us feels like. It feels like a very deep remembering
Agreed.
who we actually are. And I'm reading this Course in Miracles book right now, and I'm going through the course, and I have to kind of laugh because what it feels like is, so I was raised evangelical Christian, left that, felt like super repulsed by it for a period of time. Didn't want to touch it. Didn't want to be known by that name. Then my husband has a spiritual awakening, becomes a psychic medium. I get interested in this book, which is channeled. It's Jesus channeled through a woman. And now I'm reading it and it's making me like, wait, am I a Christian? Because so many of the messages are very similar to what I learned.
You couldn't see me touch a religion with a 30,000 foot pole.
I know I'm not. I would not call myself religious, but I'm just saying this remembering is like, oh, I am, and I believe all of us are, not just like child of God, but like...
That's not Christianity. That's
no,
just,
I know,
yeah.
but like a piece of God. I'm not God. I am connected to God. I am a piece of God. In some ways, I guess I am God. I don't know. It's a weird...
You just keep talking in circles. You just keep going.
But all I'm saying is it just feels like this remembering or reawakening. Our souls are here.
Buckle up for May.
I know. Yikes. I mean, I'm not afraid. I'm really genuinely not afraid.
Look me straight in the eye and tell me you're not afraid.
I'm not afraid. I feel like I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. No, I mean it though. I feel like I have the tools. I have the support.
Sit in the emotion for just 1 second.
Fear is not what I feel. Apprehension, or like I do feel, maybe that was a Freudian slip.
It was.
Ugh, shit. It's like I'm not
saying your emotions, but it is an emotion that I feel.
Okay. I'm not jumping for joy at the thought of doing something hard, but I do feel like I'm equipped, I guess. You can still be fearful and equipped, right?
10,000%.
Okay.
I think it's super healthy to acknowledge the emotions that you have going into something to help better prepare you.
Yeah.
Do you think that I'm not scared about the journey that I'm on?
No, I don't think you are.
I am.
Really?
What are you talking about?
You're afraid?
It's been so much new shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would think that I was crazy if I wasn't.
Yeah.
Weekly, I'm learning something new.
Not just something
Shit.
new, like an entire...
A couple days ago, I woke up in the middle of the night and I was hearing something and it wasn't in the house. I was hearing it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have that last week.
Yeah.
So I wake up at 2 a.m. and I'm like, what the fuck is that noise? I literally got up out of bed. Nala knew. Now me and Nala are so connected now. I'm walking around the house being like, I'm not getting closer to it.
Yeah.
The fuck is going on?
What did it sound like?
Then I sat down. I was like, I gotta pee. I'm gonna sit down and pee. It's in my knowing. I was like, shit.
It's an extra.
This actually happening outside of me.
What was it? What was
It's just like this weird. It sounded like Morse code.
Oh.
It was like there wasn't consistency in the beeps.
Yeah.
They were like multi-level pitches because I woke up being like, oh, fucking fire alarms running out of batteries again. It wasn't a fire alarm.
Maybe it was just in another universe.
I'm just saying. 2 weeks ago, I didn't have that. And then a couple days ago, I did.
Yeah.
And you're just like, shit, what else is going to keep coming in?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, there's that healthy fear there, I think.
Okay.
I think it would be stupid if I didn't. I also think that fear is an identifier that I'm not being driven by ego.
Yeah.
If I was like, I'm not fucking scared, what you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, this shit's awesome.
I'm going to go
I'd
start
be
a cult.
Well, maybe you should be. I'm scared of you now. Yeah.
Okay. Fear still doesn't feel like the right word, at least for me, just because fear has run a whole lot of the show for me historically. This apprehension is more so. It's like I'm bracing myself for impact, but I feel prepared.
Sure.
And like ready and not bring it on, but
Yeah.
it's fine.
It's going to be fine.
Yeah.
Neither of us are worried about that.
I know. I'm married to a psychic medium. I'll be fine. Things are fine. It'll be great.
If there's free will in this game, though,
I know.
You could have all the knowledge you want and then not do anything about it, and that'll suck.
Mm-hmm.
Even I tell that to people in readings. You can do what you want with this knowledge. It's free will. Go have a baby or don't. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Like we said with Kimberly.
Is there anything else that would be helpful for people to understand about like what you see or know or hear?
Your guides are always with you, if that's comforting.
Mm-hmm.
And
it is.
They've got your back. Talk to them. You're welcome to. Ask for signs. Be ballsy. And when you tap in and be like, what's a sign you'd give me? Don't think it's crazy, whatever comes in first.
Have we talked about Daisy on the podcast before? Now I see daisies everywhere. That was a sign for me that came to my, like, it just popped in my head. I was like, wow, I don't normally think about daisies, but I was asking for a sign. Anyway.
Yeah.
And now I see them everywhere.
Yep. They're there always. Some come and go, but you have your main guide. Like, just talk. Talk to them like they're there because they are.
I know I love in readings when people are like, can you tell them this or that? And you're like, you just did.
Yeah, I'm just communicating one way. You got the other way you can communicate.
Yeah. Nobody is closer to your guides than you. Yeah, Josh can maybe hear them in a different, clearer way or something, but nobody's closer to them than you are.
I hope that as this evolves, people will be less fearful of it. Because I think that there is a level of healing that can happen with the knowledge that exists inside of this realm. And I'm not just like seeing you naked.
Yeah, people are afraid of that.
Yeah. Honestly, I think because it's dealing with something that you can't see, you automatically clump that into every movie you've ever seen.
Oh, sure. Oh, my skeleton's in the closet. Don't look.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll see your skeletons in the closet. Only if you're willing to be open and vulnerable about it.
But you don't have x-ray vision, so you're not people naked.
No.
But you do see auras. What's my aura looking like?
It's good. Better than it was.
Okay, that's great. Coming back online?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Difference in all of that is I'm not just walking the street looking for it. I would be exhausted and taxed.
Yeah.
So this isn't just like a superpower that all of a sudden you have.
Right. And it's not a game. Like, this is something that you feel an immense amount of responsibility with.
Yeah. I have to take it with respect.
Right.
And yeah, this feels like a huge responsibility. And I take it seriously. I'm not trying to mess around. Like we were with family over the weekend. I wasn't just like tapping into everyone to see what was
also,
up.
you would have literally passed away.
Yeah. No, but I'm just not doing that. I can feel everyone's energy, but I've always been able to do that literally since I was a kid. Some stuff could come in if I'm open to receive it, but a lot of times I just close my office hours and go through the day.
Yeah. Fascinating. Okay, well, we're going to talk about more woo-woo, spooky
If
shit.
you want a reading, holler. I know I said this on the last podcast, but I got to charge now. So
yeah.
it's going to be like $6,000 a reading.
Okay, Blatch. Talk about ego.
I don't know. I'm just joking. If you want to spend a little bit of money
and get some real solid insight into
I'm here.
your...
Holler.
I'm so glad that I get it for free because I'm frugal as fuck.
You sure are. Scarcity mindset. That's all I got, though.
A podcast for another day.
I have to get back to work.
Okay.
Love you guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for accepting me. Thanks for being open. Haha. Bye.
At this point, if you're not open, you're not listening.
Yeah,
to
go
this
away.
podcast.
Bye.